Hi, Mighty Mommy here, and I'm ready to share some quick and dirty parenting tips with you that will help make your life as a parent a little bit easier and a lot more fun. Today's episode is all about helping your kids manage that little gremlin in our school lives, homework. I'm your host, Cheryl Butler. School's been in session for almost a month now, and although we've transitioned most of our schedule from summer to school, one thing that is rapidly starting to pick up right now is our kids' homework loads. Reports, special projects, book reviews, and more. It's only just begun. If your family is struggling to balance a hectic daily routine that includes an overwhelming amount of homework, know that you're not alone and that Mighty Mommy is right there with you. I've been managing the homework scene for my 8 kids for nearly 2 decades now. So today I'm going to share my 5 top tips to help your kids stay on task with their assignments. With these tips, your kids will be able to hit the books and make time for other fun family times throughout the school year. Personally, I used to wonder why homework was even necessary. If my kids were spending 7 hours a day in school, wasn't that enough? Many of my family members are teachers, including my mom, who's 70 years old and presently the principal of a high school. Although they don't agree with the amount of homework that some teachers hand out, they all agree that homework is still necessary to a degree, and here's why. For starters, teachers have long used homework to provide additional learning time, strengthen study and organizational skills, and to keep parents informed of their child's progress. Research also indicates that homework is an excellent means of reinforcing and consolidating the information and skills that your child learns at school. Second, homework has many potential benefits. It helps develop study skills and time management skills, independence, and, most importantly, responsibility. So with that in mind, today we'll look at 5 ways to help your kids better manage their homework. Tip number 1, create a quiet place to study. Give your child a quiet place to study, free of distractions away from TV and video games. In our house, our dining room is used as a multi-purpose study craft room because, to be honest, most of our meals are enjoyed around our kitchen island. We always have their go-to supplies, such as pencils and markers and crayons, computer paper, staplers, construction paper, calculators, rulers, and any other study items that they use routinely on hand. This saves a lot of wasted time searching for supplies when we've already got them set up and ready to go. Tip number 2, establish a homework routine. With all the activities families sign on for during the school year, it's important to determine when your kids will be doing their homework each day. This obviously varies depending on your child's needs, schedules, and individual attention spans. 2 of my kids can't focus much past dinner, so getting their homework done right after school is key. My high school-aged kids, however, they participate in school sports and work part-time jobs, so we have to adjust their homework routines accordingly. One thing is for certain, though, winging it is usually not a wise strategy. Sit down with your kids at the beginning of the school year and decide together what the guidelines will be for completing homework. For example, my kids can't get on their electronics until they check in with their father or me so that we can see that their homework checklists are complete. Once kids realize that there are regular expectations for getting homework completed in a timely fashion, it'll become a habit instead of an afterthought. Tip number 3, teach kids time management skills. With the extremely full schedules that kids today carry, thanks to after-school activities, sports, clubs, and jobs, not to mention homework loads, time management and organizational skills are imperative for them to keep their heads above water. If your school does not provide a homework planner, invest in one of your own. At the beginning of each school week, sit down with your child and review what was assigned. Our schools post nearly everything on the school website, so I visit that frequently if I have any questions or if one of my kids seems confused about a particular assignment. Realistically, help your child figure out an estimated amount of time per subject needed each night for homework. It'll take a few weeks for you and your child to get into the groove and have a good feel for how long assignments take. But if you know your child excels in English but struggles in math, Make sure you set aside more time for the math work each night. Let your child have input with this, since he or she ideally knows what comes easy and what doesn't. We have our children tackle the harder subjects first so that they can get those out of the way. We also find that they have more focus at the beginning of the night, so doing the more difficult subjects and assignments earlier in the evening reduces their stress levels, and mine. Break up the workload each night by teaching your child that he or she doesn't have to work straight through when it's homework time. I love using our kitchen timer to delegate blocks of time per subject and assignment. Once the timer goes off, they take a break with a cold drink or just get up and play with a dog or do something like throw a ball around with one another. That way they can burn off a little energy before getting back at it. Tip number 4, plan ahead for big projects. One of the biggest nightmares parents face is having their child announce that a huge school project is due the following day. One that was assigned, 3 weeks ago and should have been in the works for days now. Sound familiar? The most important tool in avoiding this scenario is communication. You can't teach time management skills to your child if you aren't in the know about big projects. Once your child enters middle school, it does become more difficult to find out about class assignments and projects, so it becomes more important than ever to talk to your child on a regular basis about what's going on in their school world. Most schools do have websites with helpful links that keep parents informed of classroom work, including due dates and timelines of expectations, but there are still many families that find it difficult to stay in the loop despite this information, and I admit this happens to us too. Get into the habit of checking with your child on a weekly basis about what they have going on in their subjects, particularly any big projects that are in the works. Once you have a handle on this, you can sit down with a calendar and map out the steps needed to complete the project in a timely manner and avoid a situation where she's cramming everything in at the last minute. Several of my kids are visual learners, and in order to stay organized and on top of their school assignments, they have to have their own calendars to plot the time frames out. I purchase large desktop calendars for them so they can have enough room to write out notes, strategies, and deadlines for each of their subjects and larger projects. Having 8 kids, I can tell you that this helps keep me from feeling overwhelmed and helping them at the same time. Tip number 5, show your support. It's important to show your kids that you think homework is important. There's no question that homework each night can become a burden, especially when parents have had long days keeping the household going or running home after a day at work, and now dinner has to be made, pets need to be cared for, carpools need to be run, on top of overseeing homework. If your kids see you acting frazzled about homework, they in turn will feel uptight as well. For kids with learning disabilities, it's even more difficult to help them stay on task without getting frustrated at the end of the day when all of you are tired. So set up guidelines as the parent for how involved you will be with homework. Be available for assistance and to help when needed, but establish early on that you will not be doing the homework for them. Ask your child specific questions so that you know she understands the assignment and what is expected of her, such as, "Katie, do you understand this assignment? What help do you need to complete it on time? Do you have everything you need to complete this assignment?" Be in contact with your child's teacher on a regular basis and don't wait until grades come out to discover there's a problem. If there is a difficulty with a particular subject, stay in contact with that teacher and work out a plan to assist him or her throughout the semester. And don't forget, encourage and praise your child when you see him working hard. One of my sons struggles with reading. He would rather wash dishes than pick up a book and read. He does have a passion for building things, however, so last year we coaxed him into reading magazines and books that had projects with directions. That was the start of some actual reading for pleasure. We made a big deal out of how great it was to see him reading the building magazines, and it really pumped him up and it increased his self-esteem. How do you manage homework in your household? Share your thoughts in the comments section at quickanddirtytips.com/mighty-mommy or post your ideas on the Mighty Mommy Facebook page. You can email me at mommy@quickanddirtytips.com, and don't forget to visit my family-friendly boards at pinterest.com/mightymommyqdt. With a little planning and communication, homework doesn't have to rule your school lives this year. Enjoy this week with your family, and until next time, happy parenting!